So yesterday we had some information come out from Adam Schefter regarding the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. And before I get into this, I know that ever since that draft day back in 2021 when Adam Schefter came out on draft day, said that Aaron Rodgers wanted to leave Green Bay. And a few days later, he came out and said it was an accumulation of information. He didn't get new information on that day. And I think since that point, Packers fans sort of don't take what he says super seriously. And while I somewhat understand that because of his decision to put it out on draft day, just sort of out of nowhere, at the same time, I do think there's some insight we can get from some of his reports because he is very connected in the NFL. And so I just want to go over what he had to say, and you can decide for yourself whether you believe it or not. So it came out yesterday. He put out a article, and here's the point that is somewhat interesting. He says this: league sources believe the franchise prefers to move on from Rodgers just as it once did with Brett Favre. Those sources also believe that Rodgers is well aware of the Packers' feelings on the situation. So the thing with this is it's league sources believe, which who knows exactly why they believe this. This seems to be an opinion, probably based on information they may have. But this isn't a report that's come out and has basically said, like, the Packers prefer to trade Rodgers. I've seen some headlines looking around Google and stuff that says the Packers prefer to trade Rodgers as if the Packers have, made this clear. But this report from Schefter, his league sources believe that they want to move on. So just like I believe the Packers, if I believed whatever I believed, I could say I believe it, which doesn't make it true. So we don't know whether or not these league sources really know the Packers want this or they just think it based on whatever information they could have. So it's not like the Packers have really come out and said, we don't want Rodgers, we don't prefer him. It doesn't mean it's not possible, but based on that report, it's not like a fact that the Packers are going to or want to move on from Rodgers. The thing about this entire situation that's very interesting is because we have heard Packers GM Brian Gutekunst many times say that the Packers signed Rodgers to the contract last year, planning for him to be here for multiple seasons. He's also said that they want to have Rodgers back. The thing is, sure, maybe that's true. At the same time, we've seen in the past, for example, with the Seattle Seahawks a year or so ago, Pete Carroll, a week or two before he got traded, said, we have no plans of trading Russell Wilson. So things can change very quickly. We don't really know what Brian Gutekunst is thinking. And if I were Brian Gutekunst and let's say he has decided in his mind, you know what, I think it could be best for this organization to trade Rodgers, get the draft capital, move on to Jordan Love, he probably wouldn't just come out and say that and tell everyone exactly what he's thinking, because you would have to think in his mind that he doesn't want to be seen as the guy who pushes Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay because, many people, I know there's differing opinions. I feel like it's 50-50 when it comes to wanting Rodgers back. And so Brian Gutekunst is probably doing what he can in his what he thinks he can do best to, if Rodgers did move on, to not do it in a way that sort of seems like he's forcing Rodgers out. So who knows? We really don't know what the Packers are thinking. And while some league sources, according to Schefter, believe they want to move on, that could be false. They could actually want Rodgers back. We just don't honestly know the truth about the situation. And the only way we're going to find out is when whatever happens actually goes down, whether that's Rodgers and them coming out and saying that, Rodgers is going to be traded, whether that's Rodgers full on coming back and that being made clear. We just do not know what is going to happen, but I wanted to cover that because I thought it was important to cover because it's been flying around the internet and I wanted to give my thoughts on exactly what came out. But that is all I have for this video. If you want to see more Packers content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on the video. If you want to subscribe to my Packers email newsletter, I put out stuff there throughout the week. I put out something about Schefter, the support, earlier today. So feel free to go subscribe there. Link down below. That's all I have for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.